Hello student, welcome to digital classes. This video is for class 9th. Subject is maths and the chapter is Euclid geometry. This is the chapter number 5th. I'm going to tell you about Euclid geometry in this video, and there is only one part for this chapter. Now geometry. Geo means earth, metron means measurement. Geometry is basically a branch of mathematics concerned with the question of shape, size, relative position of the figure and the properties of space. A mathematician who works in the field of geometry is called geometer. Geometry was one of the two fields of pre-modern mathematics, the other being the study of numbers, means arithmetic. Euclidean geometry. Euclidean geometry is the study of geometry based on definition undefined terms like point, line, plane, and the assumption of the mathematician Euclid 330 BC. Euclidean geometry is the study of flat surface. Euclid's test element was the first systematic discussion of geometry. While many of Euclid's findings had been previously stated by earlier Greek mathematician, Euclid is credited with developing the first comprehensive deducting system. Euclid's approaches to geometry considered of proving all theorems from the finite number of postulate and axioms. The concept of Euclid geometry remained unchallenged until the early 19th century. At the time, other forms of geometry stated to emerge called non-Euclidean geometry. It was no longer assumed that Euclid geometry could be used to describe all physical spaces. Euclid's definitions. The Greek mathematician of Euclid's time threw off geometry as an abstract model of the world they live in. The notations of point, line, plane, etc. were derived from what was seen around them. Euclid summarized these notation as defines. A few are given below. A point is that of which there is no part. A line is a widthless length. A straight line is one which line evenly with the point on itself. The extremities of the line are called points. A surface is that which has only length and breadth. The edge of surface are line. The plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with a straight line on itself. Now, Euclid's axioms. Axioms are assumptions used throughout mathematician and not specially linked to geometry. Here are some of the Euclid's axioms. Axiom 1. Things that are equal to the same thing are also equal to one another. Transitive property of equality. Axiom 2. If equal are added to equal, then whole are equal. If equal are subtracted from the equal, then the remainder are also equal. Things that coincide with one another equal one another. Reflexive property. Axiom 5. The whole is greater than the part. Things which are half of the same thing are equal to one another. And the last seventh axiom is things which are double of the same thing are double to one another. Coincide means basically the figure overlap or congruent figure. Now Euclid's postulate. Postulate are assumptions specific to geometry. Let the following be postulated. To draw a straight line from any point to any point, the produced extend a finite line or a straight line continuously in a straight line. To describe a circle with any center and distance is radius, that all right angles are equal to one another. The parallel postulate that if a straight line falling on two straight lines makes the interior angle on the same side less than two right angle, if two straight line if produced infinitely meet on that side on which are the angle less than the two right angles. Equivalent versions of Euclid's fifth postulate means the parallel postulate. To the ancient, the parallel postulate seemed less obvious than the other. It seems as if the parallel line postulate should have been able to be proven for rather than simply accepting as a fact. It is now known that such a proof is impossible. Euclid himself seems to have considered it as being quantitatively different from others and evidenced by the organization of the elements. The first 28 postulate he present are those that can be proved without it. Many alternative axioms can be formulated that have the same logical consequences as the parallel postulate. For example, Playfair's axiom states, for every line L and for every point P lying outside L, there exists a unique line M passing through P and parallel to L. This result can also be stated in the following way. Two distant intersecting lines cannot be parallel to the same line. Nowadays, postulate and axioms are terms that are used interchangeably and in the same sense. Postulate is actually a verb. When we say let us postulate, we means let us make some statement based on the observed phenomena in the universe. Its truth or validity is checked afterward. If it is true, then it is accepted as a postulate. A system of axiom is called consistent. If it is impossible to deduce from these axioms a statement that contradicts any axioms or previously proved statement, so any system of axiom is given, its need to be ensured that the system is consistent. After Euclid stated his postulate and axioms, he used them to prove other result. Then using these result, he proved some more result by applying deductive reasoning. The statements that were proved are called postulations or theorems. Euclid deduced 465 postulates in a logical chain using the axioms, postulate, definitions and theorems proved earlier in the chain. In the next few chapters on geometry, you will be using these axioms to prove some theorems. Theorem with proofs. Theorem: two distant lines cannot be more than one point in common. Proof: two lines L and M are given. We need to prove that they have only one point in common. Let us suppose that the two lines intersect in two distant points, say P and Q. That is two lines passing through two distant points P and Q, but this assumption clashes with the axiom that only one line can pass through two distant points. Therefore, the assumption that two lines intersect in two distant points is wrong. Therefore, we conclude that two distant lines cannot have more than one point in common. Now let us start the exercise 5.1. This is the question number 1. Which of the following statement are true and which are false? Give reason for your answer. Only one line can pass through a single point. Second, there are an infinity number of lines which pass through two distant points. Third, a terminated line can be produced infinitely on both sides. Fourth, if two lines are equal, then their radii are equal. Fifth, in figure A minus PQ and PQ is equal to XY, then AB is equal to XY. Now the solution for the question number 1. First is false. Reason: if we mark a point O on the surface of a paper using pencil and scale, we can draw infinity number of straight line passing through point O. It means infinity number of line can pass through a single point. Now the question number 1 part 2. The answer is false, and the reason: in the following figure there are many straight lines passing through P. There are many lines passing through Q, but there is one and only one line which is passing through P as well as Q. Figure is on last page, so you may check that page and figure also. Now the third part is true. Reason: the postulate 2 says that a terminated line can be produced infinitely, means we can extend line on either side. Now the fourth part answer is true. Reason: superimposing the region of one circle on the another, we find them coinciding. So their center and boundaries coincide. Thus the radii will considered or equal, means if the radii of two figure is same, the circle is congruent, means one circle is overlapping on the second circle. It means if the two circles coincide each other, they are congruent. If the figures are congruent, then they are coinciding with each other. Now the fifth part, the answer is true. Reason: according to Euclid's axiom, things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. Now the question number 2 from exercise 5.2, and the solution is yes, these postulate contains undefined terms such as point and line. Also these postulates are consistent because they deal with two different situations as one. Say that given 2 point A and B, there is a point C laying on the line in between them, whereas second, that given point A and B, you can take point C not laying on the line through A and B. No, these postulate does not follow from Euclid's postulate. However, they follow from the axioms. Give two distant points, there is a unique line that passes through them. You have to do question number 2 by yourself. Now the question number 4. If a point C lies between 2 points A and B such that AC is equal to BC, then prove that AC is equal to half of AB. Explain by drawing the figure. See, in the figure AB and C is in between AB. AC is equal to BC, that is given. So AC If we add AC both sides, so AC plus AC is equal to BC plus AC. If equals added to equal, then whole are equal, or 2AC is equal to AB. Therefore, AC plus BC is equal to AB, or AC is equal to half of AB. Now the question number 5. In question number 4, point C is called a midpoint of the line segment AB. Prove that every line segment has one and only one midpoint. Now see the solution. Let the given line AB having two midpoints C and D. You will see in the figure. AC is equal to half of AB. This is marked as equation number 1, and AD is equal to half of AB, marked as equation 1. Subtracting 1 and 2, we get AD minus AC is equal to half AB minus half AB, or AD minus AC is equal to 0, or CD is equal to 0. C and D coincide. Thus, every line segment has one and only one midpoints. Now the question number C. In the figure, if AC is equal to BD, then prove that AB is equal to CD. Now solution. Given AC is equal to BD, this implies AB plus BC and BC plus CD, means we add BC on both sides. Subtracting BC from both sides, we get AB plus BC minus BC is equal to BC plus CD minus BC. When equal are subtracted from equal, remainders are equal, which implies AB is equal to CD. Why is exam 5 is in the list of Euclid's axiom considered as universal truth? Note that the question is not about the fifth postulate. This is the important question. That's why I include this in our video. Now the solution. As statement is true in all the situation, hence it is considered a universal truth. Now you see the same exam 5. Why is exam 5 is the universal truth? Whole pizza is greater than the slice. This is true for everything and cannot be changed. That's why the exam 5 says whole is greater than the part, and it's a universal truth. It is the same question that I discussed just before. Why is exam 5 in the list of Euclid's axioms considered a universal truth? And the another solution is exam 5 stated that the whole is greater than the part. The axiom is known as the universal truth because it holds true in any field and not just in the field of mathematics. Let us take two cases, one in the field of mathematics and one other than mathematics. Case 1, let T represent whole quantity and only A, B, C are the part of it. So T is equal to A plus B plus C. Clearly T will be greater than all its part A, B, C. Therefore it is rightly said that the whole is greater than the part. Now the second case, let us consider the continent Asia. Then let us consider a country India which belongs to Asia. India is a part of Asia and it can also be observed that Asia is greater than India. That is why we can say that the whole is greater than the part. This is the true for any in part of the world and is thus a universal truth. Now these questions are from exercise 5.2. How would you rewrite Euclid's fifth postulate so that it would be easier to understand? Solution. Two distinct intersecting line cannot be parallel to the same line. Now the last question of the exercise 5.2, or the last question for this chapter also. Does Euclid's fifth postulate implies the existence of parallel line? Explain. Yes, according to Euclid's fifth postulate, when the line x falls on a line y and z such that angle 1 plus angle 2 is less than 180, then the line y and the line z are producing further will meet in the side of angle 1 and 2, which is less than 180 degree. We find that the line which are not according to Euclid's fifth postulate, that is angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 180, do not intersect, then we say that these are parallel line. I hope everyone would understand what I taught in this video. I want everyone copy this in their classwork copy or homework copy, and is there any problem in any question, please ask to clear yourself.